During students' years, when I was in university, I did a lot of volunteer work in hospitals and state orphanages. And after working with the children there, I realized that doesn't help them very much. They need a total change in their life, like 100% change in their life. Otherwise, it's in vain, everything I'm doing. And I do not like to do things just for the moment. I want them to really help children on the long term. And the actual system is weak and poor because it addresses Romanian children, and most of abandoned babies are gypsy children. So I decided to take children in my own apartment for a full recovery and started papers so they can move on a permanent home, either in their birth families, either in an adoptive family. And in order to do this, I started a foundation, Hope House Foundation. And I took the first group of children in '96, 7 babies from the hospital. It was difficult because I was alone. I had to do the babysitting, the mom, the social work, the director, and the executor too. But God helped me, and I moved on.
Well, I was 18 years old when I first decided I wanted to go on a mission trip and didn't really know where I wanted to go. I just knew I wanted to go somewhere for some length of time, and my father introduced me to a Romanian pastor who was a friend of his. And I met with him in the United States, and he invited me to come to Romania. He didn't really have a specific idea of what I would be doing there, so I decided to go for a 5-week trip at first, just to check out the territory and find out what I could do. And I went on my first trip there in May of 1996 and stayed for 5 weeks. I stayed with an American missionary, and on my 3rd day in Romania, she introduced me to Corina. Corina at the time was in her early 20s, and she just started her orphanage ministry in a small apartment. In fact, it was her personal apartment. She had 2 bedrooms, and she had 7 babies all in this apartment. And
it was basically like a 2 or 3 room apartment that, my guess is 600 or 700 square feet of American space, and there were babies everywhere and women walking around holding the babies, and Corina in the middle of all these babies, Jamie in the middle of all these babies, and you could just see that there was love and attention and care going on, and to see, these kids who I knew where they would head otherwise. I'd been there and seen where they'd head otherwise, and to see them being rescued from that was incredibly satisfying.